This week when I was in Hollywood, I went to a Grammy party, and there were all these famous people there, and industry executives and very wealthy people, and that was really interesting. That was a new experience for me because I'm not a big party goer. I didn't even go to parties when I was in college. When I was in college, I used to love studying, and I used to love hanging out. I had uh, this marginally, barely attractive girlfriend. She wasn't that cute. She was ugly physically and mentally. She was kind of a jerk. Somebody says the audio just died again. Did my audio just die? Anyway, so I used to go hang out with my girlfriend, and I used to play basketball a lot in college, and I used to what else? That's it. I would just do what I wanted to do, what was fun for me in college. I didn't feel like going to parties was fun because it didn't seem like people at parties were really having that much fun. Like parties to me are interesting because it's like this place where there's music and people are holding a drink and some people are dancing, some people aren't, most people are not. You can't hold good conversations because you're yelling over each other, right? And so I just never saw it. I never saw the value. I would just sit there and say, well, these people don't even look like they having fun. They look like they just here because everybody told them they're supposed to be here. If I'm having fun, I'm gonna do something really fun. I'm gonna go spend time with my friends. I'm gonna go hang out with my girlfriend. I told you she wasn't that cute, but we had sex and stuff. That was more fun than a party. I would go play basketball. I love playing sports. I would study and work toward my dream. I tell you, you want to talk about real fun. Get a dream that you are in love with, and work on that dream every day. That's fun. That's really exciting when you see reality coming before you that used to be a fantasy. Now that's exciting when you have those big breakthroughs and you're like, oh my God, I'm closer and I'm gonna make it and I'm gonna actually do this. It's extraordinary. I mean, most of everything that I do now, and I still got big dreams. I ain't even close to being done yet. But a lot of the things I do now are things that used to be a figment of my imagination back, 10, 15 years ago. They were things that I didn't even really know if I could actually pull off. I just said, well, I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna do everything I can. Somebody said, you're the motherfucking man. Well, thank you, motherfucker. Anyway, I'm playing. Well, you my motherfucking man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Um, and I'll tell you, it's like it was real exciting. I remember being just sitting there in my little apartment. I used to be in Syracuse, and it would just be me and the TV and lots of quiet. And I would just work on my little thing. And I remember at that time nobody knew who I was, nobody cared. And I said, well, maybe one day I can make people care. I got some things I can share that I think will make the world a better place. And maybe if I push hard enough, I can make it happen. And I'll be damned if that didn't happen. Now somebody's asking about our class, Young, Black, and Rich, the financial class for millennials. Are we going to meet? Yes, I will reach out to you soon about a meeting just for students in that program. For now, what I'm doing is I want you guys to see some of the curriculum in the stock market class. The reason I created that program is because I wanted to create a low cost format for younger people in their 20s who want to figure out how the investing game works, how the wealth game works. And so basically, what I'm doing now is I'm letting you guys, for a lower cost than everyone else pays, get into the stock market curriculum, stock market program, so you can kind of get started on investing. The easiest way for a younger person, to become wealthy as they get older is to start investing little amounts of money in the stock market. If I had started investing, say $5 a day, we have the $5 a day plan, for example. If I'd started investing $5 a day when I was say 20 years old, I would probably have. I'm trying to think how many I'd have. I think it's about 150,000 extra dollars, maybe something like that, in the stock between 150 and 200,000 extra just from $5 a day. And I could have done that in college. I was making maybe about $7 an hour. So if I just took 1 hour of pay each day and put that pay toward long-term investment, I would have hundreds of thousands more dollars. Now, is it too late to do it in your 30s? No, it's not. It's never too late to invest because now is always better than never, right? Now is better than waiting another 20 or 30 years. And the other thing about wealth that's really interesting is that you is that wealth is supposed to be intergenerational. It's supposed to be for families. And my goal as a Black finance PhD is to kind of tell, break the secret out, make sure Black people know the secrets to wealth and power in this country. It's not a coincidence or an accident that people like Donald Trump have so much money, and they can literally crap out, $100,000 when some of us can't even raise $1,000 in order to even get their car fixed, right? And so we kind of get stuck in these weird realities that really were made. They were socially constructed, but it's kind of another social construct is that you've been trained to kind of maintain that reality. That's the thing. You've been trained to kind of commit to that. I was sitting there, I was watching the NAACP Image Awards and stuff like that, and I was just thinking about how sad it is that the NAACP could have been such a great organization for Black people, but I don't think that it is, largely because we have a world where a large percentage of us as Black people feel that in order for us to even survive, we have to beg our oppressor, the people who harmed us the most. We have to beg them to take care of us. We have to forgive everything. A condition for being rewarded by white supremacist institutions and to be given their resources is that, and I'm thinking about this, is really true, is that you have to forgive them for raping your grandmother. You have to forgive them for cutting your great grandfather's balls off and burning him alive and hanging him from a tree. You have to forgive that because if you bring it up, then they're going to get mad at you, right? You can give a speech and you can factually state maybe 50 things that have happened to Black people that we don't know about, and white people will get mad. They'll be like, "Well, this ungrateful ass nigga, what's wrong with him?" Right? And my feeling is that I'm not interested in that. I'm not gonna. I don't feel like I really need you in order to survive economically because I understand economics. I know how to go get enough money to pay my bills, and I'm not gonna sell my integrity for nothing. But a lot of times, the reason you end up having to sell yourself and sell your soul is because you don't have a way to survive on your own, right? It's like if you're out in the woods and you don't have any food and you don't have any way to hunt and you don't know how to grow food, you don't know how to build shelter, well, you're gonna have to sell yourself in order for somebody to take care of you, in order for somebody to hook you up and protect you, right? So a lot of times, in exchange for protection from white supremacist institutions or by white supremacist institutions, we have to the subtle agreement you're making is that I'm not going to bring up any horrible thing you've done to us. You're giving them amnesty. You're giving them amnesty. Amnesty in exchange for the basic tools of economic survival. It's not that they're giving you real money. They're not giving you real reparations. They're giving you crumbs. They're giving you crumbs. And what happens is you give crumbs to people who don't know how to get the big fish. You give crumbs to the people who don't know how to go get the big piece of chicken, as Chris Rock used to say. You give crumbs to the people who don't know how to take care of themselves. And what I see a whole lot of Black folks getting into a whole lot of buffoonery, a whole lot of coonery, a whole lot of partying, a whole lot of stupid stuff, and they're living off of these crumbs that are being fed to them by white supremacist institutions. So when I look at the NAACP, what I really see is an organization that I believe was started with decent intentions. I think it's been severely corrupted, unfortunately, because they take money from anybody. If you take money from anybody, the first person to offer you money is somebody that's going to try to rape you, right? Think about it. Imagine if your daughter is the prettiest girl in the neighborhood, and she goes outside and says, "Hey, I'll have sex with anybody that gives me money. I'll give anything. If anybody who gives me money, I'll do whatever you want." I mean, who's going to offer the money? It's going to be the creepy guy down the street who's going to want to have his way with her, right? So ultimately, the NAACP, unfortunately, it seems to me that they don't that they take money from anybody, and what it does is it ends up undermining, unfortunately, their ability to do meaningful work sometimes. Because the first people to line up and give you money are going to be the people who are looking for a bailout, people that are looking for amnesty. Why would I give you money if if I don't want something in return, right? That's not how rich people get wealth. Rich people don't get wealth by giving it away. Rich people get wealth by keeping it. Do this for me real quick. If you're on social media, please hit the share button and please take 1 second and do me a huge favor and just please invite your friends because I think that if you believe in what we're talking about here, you understand the reality that we got an uphill battle, y'all. I mean, we really gonna have to fight because We're kind of the only game in town right now. There really aren't a lot of people doing what we do. There are not a lot of people who are really serious about building true strength in the black community. There are not a lot of people who are really trying to develop institutions. Most Negroes are out either looking for jobs, or they're looking for the hookup from the white man, or they're looking to be integrated into something that was never inviting them in the first place. Now, I'm not dissing those people. I feel bad for them because unfortunately, what it is that they're fundamentally weak. They're fundamentally weak. You know, they would say behind closed doors, look, I would run with you, but I can't because I need this job, or we need our relationships with white people in order to get money. And I'm not saying that you don't. I'm not saying that you can't work with them. But what I'm saying is that you have to be thoughtful about sort of what that means. You have to be thoughtful about what it means to be really independent. And I'm not gonna call out any names because I don't want to get into stuff in the beefs with people. But I'm gonna tell you what, um, there even some of our most prominent and proud news organizations. If you really go look deeply at their management structure, look at their management structure. I don't want y'all to just say it for me. I'm not gonna say nobody's names because I'm not trying to start no beef. But go look at who's really calling the shots. If it's a nationwide, radio or TV network or whatever, or a blog or something like that, that's for black people, I want you to go look and see the managers that are actually making the key decisions. Who are the shareholders of these companies? Who really run these organizations? Where does the power really lie? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna try to disparage anybody because I'm not in the mood for that today. As y'all know, I'm not scared to say what needs to be said, but sometimes fighting is not productive. So I'm not gonna fight because I don't want to make anybody feel bad. Because I used to be a little irritated with quote unquote sellout black people, but now I'm not irritated with them. I feel sorry for them because I think that what happened with them is that their parents positioned them to be sellouts. Their parents positioned them for that. Their parents were the ones who fed them alive. Their parents were the ones who sent them every day to the white man to be educated. Their parents were the ones who never taught them how to create their own business and how to build their own opportunities. So they're out here stuck. They're out here just begging and hoping for the best and making allegiances with scumbags and people that don't have their best interests at heart. And they end up being in bad situations. Now, give me 1 second. I got to get rid of a troll. While I get rid of a troll, do me a favor. If you want a free e-copy of my book, please go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net, and you get a free e-copy of my book. It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. The other thing is that you get a chance to be on our list, which is a backup because, as you know, I've been targeted. Not me, but it's not about me. It's our organization, but we get targeted on Facebook, and Facebook's really giving us a hard time. And so we're big on. I mean, we got a lot of stuff on Facebook. We have a few. Million followers on different pages. I don't even tell people all the pages that we own because I don't want people to know. But we're all over Facebook. But Facebook has been acting a little bit funny. So get on our list so we can remain connected just in case, just in case something happens. Okay. So go to drboycewatkins.net. And please sign up. The other thing too is if you happen to live near Orlando, go to drboyceorlando.com, Dr. Boyce Orlando, and you can see where we're about. You can buy tickets for the tour. Our next tour stop is Orlando, Florida, the weekend of February 24th. February 24th. So anyway, so it's drboyceorlando.com. All right, so somebody's asking, do I teach about option trading in our classes? Yes, we do. We're gonna do a lecture on option trading. We pretty much each week we're just gonna kind of do a new topic, and that's what we've been doing so far. Everything we've done so far in our investing class is recorded, so you can get the recording if you log in at theblackstockmarketprogram.com. You can go in there and review everything that's been done so far and get a chance to catch up with everybody. I really believe every black person in the world should be investing. I think it should be as common as life insurance. I think you should ask your relatives, hey, are you investing in the stock market at all? And it doesn't mean that the stock market is the answer to all your prayers, but I will tell you this. If we'd had, say, 50% of all black people investing, say, I don't know, 5% of our income in the stock market, say, since 1950, the wealth gap would almost disappear. Black people would literally have so much wealth it would be ridiculous. So let's say that theoretically we could get half of all black people. to just invest what they got. You know, if it's $1 a day, do $1 a day. If it's $5 a day, do $5 a day. But just make that an important priority. We would literally have so much money. And I'm not making that up. It's so true. Historically, the Donald Trumps of the world, the reason they get rich is because they invest in the stock market and regular people don't. Now, somebody asked me about getting out of debt. That was a question I got today. Somebody, you get these what I call them Negro naysayers. You know, black people who find a solution or a problem for every solution, who are more caught up on why things don't work as opposed to why they will work. And you know that you probably have people like that in your family where every time you tell them how they can make their situation better, they work really, really hard. They're really, really determined to explain to you why it's impossible for them to fix their situation, right? Well, anyway, I saw a Negro naysayer today. They're everywhere. They kind of seem to feed off of the poisonous despair of black people. They live off that. They love feeling sorry for themselves. They love complaining. They love believing that they can't make their lives better. So people like that are just kind of stuck in the mud. Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. They're like heroin addicts. The heroin is the depression and the sadness that comes with being black in America and the powerlessness. They eat that almost like roaches. They eat radioactive material or whatever. So anyway, one of the Negro naysayers said, Dr. Boyce, you black people can never learn to invest because you don't teach them how to get out of debt. Why don't you teach black people how to get out of debt and before they can learn how to invest? Because people can't invest until they get out of debt. Well, number one, that's not true. I know a lot of people who I started investing before I was out of debt. Let me just say that. A lot of people invest before they're out of debt. So that's the first thing. That's a myth. That's silly. But number two, I said, well, this will be interesting. Let's talk about debt and what that is and how that works and getting out of it. Look, here's the thing. Let me tell you a secret about debt. Here's a secret about debt. Independent millionaires, people that become independently wealthy, they only take on debt if it's going to make them more money. That's the only time they take on debt. Independently wealthy people, people that know how money works, they will only take on debt on that condition, that the debt will help them make more money. So people like independently wealthy will typically only take on debt for a house, a business, or maybe education. That's it. That's it. And maybe to buy some stock or something like that. But that's it. They take on debt to make an investment. They take on debt as capital. People that get screwed by debt are people that tend to take on debt for number one for what they call bad debt for dumb reasons. They take it on for so they can go on vacation. They take on debt so they can go buy the new Gucci shoes or whatever at the store. They take on debt so they can go out to eat. They take on debt so they can be fly. A lot of black people, unfortunately, y'all are addicted to trying to look fly, which is stupid. Y'all, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sorry. I don't mean to call it stupid. Forgive me for saying that. It's okay to look nice. Look nice. If that's what you like, look nice. But never think that looking fly should be more important than being fly on the inside mentally. Never think that looking fly should be more important than having integrity. Never think that what you are on the outside should matter more than who you are on the inside. That's horrible. That's just deplorable. When all you do is focus on the outside, like look at how nice I look in this outfit. Look at how big my booty is. I got my hair laid today. I'm wearing a nice suit. I'm wearing a $3,000 suit. Look at the car I'm driving. And that's all you got? Is that all you got? Really? That's all you got? You can't hold an intelligent conversation because you ain't read nothing. You're screwing over people in your life because you're a bad person. You ain't trying to elevate to nothing because you ain't got no goals in life except making sure that you're in front of the TV to watch Empire on Tuesdays. Really? Is that all you got? Seriously, you are morally and spiritually bankrupt. You literally are spiritually bankrupt, and that's sad. That's very sad. And so, let me make sure I phrase this carefully. It's okay to be fly. Be fly as you want. I mean, my manager trying to make me look fly. She got me going to these stores and buying clothes. I did a live stream where y'all saw me in Macy's, like looking awkward, and she's putting these clothes on me or whatever. But I did it because they convinced me. She said, look, certain black people will only listen to you if you look a certain way. And I'm like, damn it, all right, let's go do it. Whatever we got to do to get through the superficial, let's make it work. I actually heard. I'm not kidding. I heard a very intelligent black attorney one time say to me, this was the funniest thing. She said, if I watch TV and I don't like what you're wearing, I won't listen to anything you have to say. And this was an intelligent person. She was a lawyer. And I was like, really? So you're not going to hear the message at all because you don't like the color of his tie? And that's the weirdest thing to me. So I said, okay, fine. If I gotta get some nice clothes, let me do that. But I don't mind it either. I mean, if it it's actually nice to dress, not dress like a nerd for a change, but at the same time, that's not that shouldn't be a big part of who you are. Long story short, and so I would just say that a lot of the debt you take on trying to look fly, there's a deep psychological reason for that. There's a deep psychological connection between your need to engage in excessive, meaningless, shallow materialism to feel better about yourself. A lot of it comes down to the fact that a lot of black people are very depressed. A lot of black people feel a sense of hopelessness. A lot of black people feel that they aren't good enough. We feel that the only way we'll be considered good enough is if we put on some nice clothes and drive a nice car, get a fancy job working for a white man or whatever, or live in a nice house in a white neighborhood. And so what I want to do is kind of help you understand that a lot of your debt, a lot of the reason you take on debt is because you're using that debt to bail yourself out of moral and spiritual bankruptcy, as also bankruptcy of self-esteem. You have bankruptcy of self-esteem, which leads you to say, I'm gonna go deep in debt so I can buy nice stuff to compensate for the deficiency that I've created inside my head. So that's kind of the origin of debt and kind of where a lot of it comes from. It's not just black people; it's white people too. But I'm talking to black folks. I'm not talking to everybody else. Now, one of the things I want to say to you also is that when it comes to getting out of debt, the number one way to get out of debt is to remember that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and that basically means that a lot of the way to stay away from debt is to stay away from debt. People don't take on debt for silly reasons. If you go to college, don't go to those expensive schools that are $40,000 a year. Find a state school. Maybe it's 20,000 a year. Maybe you can get a scholarship or whatever. The education is kind of the same at all the schools. To be honest with you, it's not that much. The books are the same. The professors are just as smart. It's just maybe they have a couple extra programs, and the school might be more fun or whatever. But really, the education is kind of the same. I've taught at a bunch of different schools. The education was kind of the same. The other thought is make it simple. Getting out of debt can be a lot like losing weight. Losing weight can be complicated or it can be simple. If you're trying to cheat, then what you're going to do is you might read the ingredients on every label and make sure you eat this food instead of that. We can go to Weight Watchers meetings, do hypnosis or whatever, or you could just not eat so much, eat more vegetables, and take your fat ass to the gym every day or every other day. If you do that, then you're gonna lose weight. You're probably not gonna have obesity as a big problem in your life. And I only say that because I know that I lost a lot of weight recently because I just decided to be more disciplined. It was a decision on discipline. A lot of your financial situation is based on discipline and commitment. Are you willing to make the sacrifice? If you ain't willing to make the sacrifice, then you ain't gonna get it. That's it. You ain't gonna get. Ain't no secret formula to getting around the sacrifice. It's gonna be hard work. It's gonna be a long journey. There's no secret formula. You just gotta decide you want to do it. So when I decided I wanted to lose weight, when I decided that I was tired of eating, food that wasn't good for me, and I decided to go on and take on vegetables, and I eat salad, and I put dressing on it and stuff like that. Suddenly the pounds started falling off, and I would get on my exercise bike and do very basic things. So when it comes to debt, if you have a lot of debt, you got to be willing to sacrifice to pay it off. Either cut down your lifestyle and commit that money toward the debt instead of committing it to the other things you're spending money on, or find a way to make more money and apply all that extra income toward your debt. But the best way to deal with debt is to avoid debt from the very beginning. Those are the people that tend to conquer debt. You conquer debt like Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu in The Art of War said that a battle is won before it begins. Battles are won before they begin. So basically, all he's saying is that if you prepare, then it's going to be easy to win the battle when it happens. So with debt, if you stay out of debt, then it's easier to get out of debt because you never got in debt in the first place. So if you are at that stage where you haven't gone deep in debt yet, stay out of debt, number one. But if you're in debt, go ahead and make the sacrifice. Cut down your spending on other stuff. Put that money towards your debt. Stop wasting it on nonsense. Find a way to make more money and then pay it off over time, and it'll be fine. So anyway, that's just my thought. One thing I'll say, another person asked me, Should I be out of debt before I start a business? I don't believe that you have to be. I think that because if you got, let's say you're 10,000 in debt, and you got 10,000 you can apply to paying off the debt, or you got 10,000 you can apply toward building your business. Well, I can tell you this: if you're a good entrepreneur, this is why I advocate heavily for every black child in America to learn how to be an entrepreneur. I want to reiterate that to you. If you got kids, if you love your kids, teach them how to start a business so they can compete in this world. Basically, if I got that 10 grand, let's say I put it on my debt. Well, yeah, my debt goes down for sure. But if I put it toward my business and it's a great business idea and it's a proof of concept, meaning that I'm a good entrepreneur and I know that this thing is going to work, then maybe that 10,000 turns into 50,000. Then I can take that extra 40 and put that toward paying the original 10,000 off in debt. So there have been times in my life where I stayed in debt a little bit because I didn't want to use my money to pay off the debt. I wanted to use my money to put it toward the business, which was going to give me a chance at a better life. So it's up to you to decide. Depends on your situation. But point blank, period. If you want to understand how these things work, you got to get in the game. Getting in the game means you got to spend more time researching, learning, having conversations about where money comes from, how it all works. People that think about how to get something tend to be the ones who get the most of it. For example, men who spend their time thinking about how to get more sex, they tend to have a lot of sex. They tend to have babies and get girls and everything. People that think about how to do the latest dance, who try to be fly and do all the dances people do, those people tend to dance really well. People who think about basketball all day tend to be really good at basketball. So people who think about money a lot tend to have the most money. So start thinking about money, and the money will appear in your life. I guarantee you. If you start thinking about intelligent ways to build wealth and build institutions, things like that, then it's going to happen for you. Things are going to start to clear up and make sense. And you want to train your kids on this at an early age. So that's my 2 cents on getting out of debt, and that's my thought on money and the NAACP and all that. So thank you for listening to me. Don't forget, we're on tour now. So if you want to know about the tour, go to the drboycewatkinstour.com. That's the drboycewatkinstour.com. We're going to be in Orlando February 24th. You can buy tickets for Orlando at drboyceorlando.com. That's drboyceorlando.com. Also, if you want to join our stock market program, go to theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.